What is going on, everyone? Let's talk about states where you can increase your chances to meet your maker earlier than originally planned. That's right, today we're talking about states with the highest murder rate. This summer on social media and any kind of news outlet, you probably noticed that they seem to be getting into this conversation about how crime is on the rise, and they always wind whatever they're talking about back around to this question: will Americans still want to defund and reform the police if crime is on the rise? And there's always a politician on there or some expert. They're filled with out of context crime statistics, and they're all designed to advance whatever they're doing, their political career, who knows. These days, the average political campaign's theme is more about fear and less about hope like it used to be in the old days. We used to look towards the future with hope and promise. These days, we want to hide in our house, buy survival food, crossbows, and throwing knives. The white picket fence is slowly being replaced by barbed wire in the United States. But here's the thing, the media and politicians are half right. Part they're wrong about is crime is down overall. It's been going down for over 30 years, the occasional little uptick, but for the most part, over the last 30 years, it's been going down. Everything but violent crime and the murder rate, which has gone up the last 3 years. The violent crime rate went up 3.3%, which includes a 25% increase in the homicide rate. And that's what we're looking at today. The states with the highest murder rate in the US. Currently, the national average is 6.2 murders for every 100,000 residents. Okay, let's see what states are killing it in the homicide department. Number 10, Tennessee. The volunteer state is a great state with great people until you get to Memphis. Memphis kind of destroys most of the stats in Tennessee. Sure, Nashville and Knoxville and any place else with a "ville" on the end of it has some crime. Nothing compared to Memphis. I mean, every city's going to have some crime. Memphis just happens to excel at it, and it brings the whole state down and puts them on the list. The murder rate in Tennessee is 9.2 for every 100,000 residents. Number 9, Arkansas. Not a day goes by someone driving through Arkansas shakes and says, "I'll never do that again," as they cross the border into another state. Arkansas, other than, which I've said many times, the northwest corner of the state, I mean, it's a beautiful state. Don't get me wrong. The natural beauty is amazing. They just got a lot of people that are, a lot of people that should be in jail. Most of those people like to call Pine Bluff or Little Rock home. Those two cities are sort of like Memphis is with Tennessee. They just bring down the whole state. I mean, there's not a lot going on in the natural state. They seem to be big on poverty and a little short on good paying jobs. This usually leads to people committing more crimes than they normally would if people had decent jobs. That's just one of their many problems. But the problem we're talking about right now is Arkansas's murder rate. 9.4 for every 100,000 residents are murdered in Arkansas. I mean, it's bad enough you're getting murdered, but then getting murdered in Arkansas? That really sucks. Number 8, Maryland. Maryland's a state that not a lot of people think about. I mean, you know about Baltimore, everyone knows about Baltimore, but nobody really knows much about Maryland unless they're from the area. I promise you, you talk to most high school kids in the Midwest and on the West Coast and ask them what state is Baltimore in, and they might just have a complete blank look on their face. I'm sure a majority would have that problem. Baltimore is a very dangerous city. It always has been. The rest of Maryland is pretty decent. It's just Baltimore has a whole lot of crime and a whole lot of murders. As a matter of fact, 10 Maryland residents are killed for every 100,000 residents. Number 7, Alaska. A lot of Alaskan residents get murdered, and more than a few have been killed over fishing spots. I'm not even lying. There's even been a couple that have been killed over lying about the size of a fish they actually caught. It's a little different in Alaska. They never have that many murders, but they don't have that many people, so they end up on lists like this. 10.8 for every 100,000 residents are murdered in the last frontier. Number 6, Missouri. You know, I've never really been impressed with Missouri. They're another state that really doesn't have a lot going on. They've got some areas that are kind of nice and kind of beautiful. I really like Lake of the Ozarks. That's a lot of fun. And they got a lot of cheap real estate around there. But after that, nothing much really does it for me there. They do have like 3 cities that can easily be in the top 20 for murder rates. And when I do the city version of this, I'm sure you're going to see a couple Missouri cities here. But right now we're talking about the state's murder rate, and it is the same as Alaska's, which is 10.8 for every 100,000 residents. Number 5, South Carolina. I honestly thought their murder rate would be higher than it actually is. They got some backwood places where people are getting killed on a regular basis. Now, they have wonderful places like Charleston. Myrtle Beach is very touristy, but it's kind of nice to go visit there. There's some nice places, but they've got some backwood places that are kind of a little too much crime for a rural town, you know? South Carolina doesn't have any cities that jump out like, you know, a Detroit or Chicago or East St. Louis with just an astronomical murder rate. They just kind of got it here and there and all over the place. It's like spread out evenly, like a peanut butter jelly sandwich made by an anal retentive chef. The murder rate in South Carolina is 11 for every 100,000 residents. Number 4, New Mexico. New Mexico is always in the top 5 for poverty. It's been this way for like the last 20 years. I think right now they're either 1 or 2. They kind of go back and forth with Mississippi all the time. You know things aren't good in your state when you're trying to just beat Mississippi. The murder rate for New Mexico is 11.8 for every 100,000 residents. Number 3, Alabama. Yeah, overall, Alabama's got a lot of crime. It's like they have big crime parties, and Birmingham seems to be the epicenter of these crime parties. But the murders, they like to spread out throughout the state, not just in one place. You know, I don't think I've ever been invited to a crime party. Maybe I just don't hang out with the cool kids. I don't know. Who knows? But Alabama steps it up a notch when it comes to the murder rate. They are 12.8 for every 100,000 residents. They're officially double the national average. Number 2, Louisiana. Hey, look, another southern state. I bet nobody saw that one coming. Well, I mean, you probably did see it coming if you've ever driven through New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and, I don't know, Shreveport, just about any place else in that state. I shouldn't be ragging on them too much. They just got pounded by a hurricane. I don't even think everyone has power yet. It's been over a week. No power for a week sucks. I mean, all your food in your refrigerator goes bad. It's still hot down there from the summer, and so your air conditioning isn't working. Imagine you're out trying to murder people with a flashlight looking for them. It's just hard times in Louisiana. Their murder rate is 14.7 for every 100,000 residents. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. We also now have a website. There's a link for both of those down below. Maybe even find your way to our podcast in case you haven't, got your fill of listening to me talk. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Mississippi. Yep, Mississippi is number 1. They don't normally make this list. They've got Jackson, which isn't heavily populated, so they do have a lot of crime there, but it's not that terrible compared to a lot of other places in the country. But recently, their murder rate, they've stepped it up a bit. Congratulations, New Mexico, you won this round. Mississippi's crime rate and their murder rate are a direct result of having such high poverty. Bad things happen when people can't make ends meet. And there's a bunch of other reasons too, but that's one of the main drivers for their high crime rate and their high murder rate. Mississippi's murder rate is 15.4 for every 100,000 residents. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, be nice to each other.